Imagine you're standing in the middle of an invisible battle where every day you feel the weight of defeat crushing your chest, and suddenly an eternal voice whispers in your ear. How many times have you cried out for victory, but ignored the secrets I myself reveal to you? If your heart is beating faster right now, it's no coincidence. It's God calling you. Stay until the end, because these 3 secrets could be the key that transforms your failure into triumph today. Once upon a time, there was a man named Victor, an ordinary Christian in a bustling city in Colombia, where the noise of cars and smoke from the streets mingled with the aroma of fresh coffee he sold from a street stall to survive. Victor had hit rock bottom. His family business collapsed due to mounting debt. His marriage frayed like an old thread under the strain of endless arguments, and chronic anxiety gripped him at night, making his room smell of cold sweat and despair, with the ticking of the clock amplifying his fears like an endless echo. Every morning, he woke with his chest tight, wondering, "God, where are you in this darkness? Why does victory seem like a distant dream to someone like me?" But deep within his soul, a tiny flame of faith persisted, reminding him of the promises he had read in the Bible, even as the world dragged him toward the abyss. Victor didn't know it yet, but God was about to reveal 3 powerful secrets to him, not as magic formulas, but as eternal truths that would change his life in an instant, if only he would embrace them with an open heart. It was a stormy night when the revelation began, with the rain pounding on the zinc roof of his humble home like insistent fingers knocking at the door. Victor, unable to sleep, knelt on the cold ground, feeling the dampness rise to his knees, and cried out in a broken voice, "Lord, show me the way to victory, because I can't do it alone." In that moment of absolute vulnerability, an inexplicable peace enveloped him, like a warm hug in the cold, and he felt God speaking directly to his heart. The first secret was absolute trust in His Word. It wasn't just about reading it, but about living it as a shield against the arrows of doubt. He then remembered the verse from Proverbs 3:5-6, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight." But the tension grew. How could he trust when everything seemed lost? The next day, Victor decided to act. Instead of worrying about debt, he opened his Bible at the coffee stand and shared a verse with a regular customer, a man who turned out to be a compassionate lender. That simple act of trust opened an unexpected door. The man renegotiated his debts, giving him a respite that smelled of fresh freedom. Yet doubt lurked, whispering that this was just luck, creating a mystery that drove him to seek more, wondering if this secret would vanish like smoke. The second secret was revealed in the midst of a family crisis that no one saw coming. Victor came home that afternoon, with the setting sun turning the sky red like spilled blood, and found his wife crying in the kitchen, the scent of burning food filling the air as a symbol of their crumbling relationship. They had argued for the umpteenth time about money and their uncertain future, and she was threatening to leave, leaving a void that Victor felt like a knife in his stomach. In that moment of despair, God whispered to him the secret of unceasing prayer, not as an empty ritual, but as an intimate conversation that moves mountains. Inspired by 1 Thessalonians 5:17. Pray without ceasing. Victor took his wife's hand, and together they knelt right there on the sticky kitchen floor, pouring out their sorrows like poured water. The words flowed with tears, revealing hidden wounds neither had confessed before, their fear of failure, their resentment at emotional abandonment. The turning point came that night. As they prayed, an unexpected call from an old friend offered Victor a better-paying job at a local coffee shop. But deeper still, his wife felt a renewal of his love, as if God were weaving the broken threads back together. Yet the tension didn't disappear. Would this victory last, or was it just a temporary respite? The mystery of how prayer transformed the impossible kept him hooked, longing for the third secret to complete the puzzle. The third secret came like a thunderclap on a clear day, when Victor faced his greatest trial, a relapse of his anxiety that left him bedridden, his heart beating like an uncontrolled drum and the smell of bitter medicine permeating his room. He thought the first secrets had failed, and doubt enveloped him like a thick fog, questioning whether God really revealed lasting victories. But in that darkness, God showed him the secret of gratitude in the midst of the storm, based on Philippians 4:6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. It wasn't fake gratitude, but a deep recognition of hidden blessings, even in the pain. Victor began listing in a crumpled notebook everything he was thankful for: his faith, his reconciled wife, his new job. This practice created an unexpected surprise. His anxiety gradually dissipated, like clouds parting, and as he shared his testimony at the local church, he inspired others, attracting loyal clients to his new job who multiplied his income. The intensity grew with each day. The three revelations intertwined, forming a tapestry of victory that depended not on circumstances, but on a living relationship with God. But the real mystery remained. Why did God wait until the very edge of the abyss to reveal these secrets? The answer unfolded in layers, keeping Victor, and now you, on edge, longing to apply them to see real change. As the days passed, Victor felt how these secrets weren't just words, but living forces that transformed his daily routine. In the mornings, as he prepared coffee, with hands still trembling from the memory of anxiety, he repeated the first secret, trusting that God would smooth the way, and he saw how unexpected customers arrived, bringing not just coins, but conversations that nourished his soul. Prayer became a constant thread, weaving moments of intimacy with his wife, where the aroma of a shared dinner replaced that of loneliness, and gratitude flowed like a river, washing away residual doubts. However, the trials didn't cease. One day, a competitor tried to sabotage his business, reviving old fears, and Victor felt the internal conflict tearing at his peace like fierce winds against a fragile sail. Would the secrets fail now? In prayer, God reminded him that victory is not the absence of battles, but triumph in them. Quoting Romans 8:37, "Yet in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." This truth created a turning point. Instead of confrontation, Victor prayed for his competitor and offered help, turning an enemy into an ally, and his business flourished like never before. The emotional tension kept him on his toes, revealing that each secret was a deeper layer of faith, inviting a transformation that went beyond the visible. But Victor's story didn't end there. It expanded like ripples on a calm lake. Months later, at a church meeting, he shared his testimony before a crowd, the echo of his words resonating in the hall, filled with the smells of polished wood and burning candles. He spoke of how the three secrets, trust, prayer, and gratitude, had led him from defeat to victory, inspired by real-life testimonies like that of Victoria Dahlia, who went from anxiety to divine peace, proving that God works in modern storms. The audience wept, identifying with his pains, and one by one they began to apply the secrets to their lives, creating a movement of hope that spread throughout the city. Victor felt a profound joy, as if God were whispering to him that true victory is shared, not solitary. However, a final question loomed. What if life brings a bigger storm? The answer came silently. Secrets are eternal, designed for any battle, maintaining the mystery of a God who reveals only what is necessary for growth. And so, in what seemed like an instant, Victor went from ruin to a life of abundant victory, proving that God reveals secrets not to impress, but to transform. Isn't it shocking how three simple truths can tear down invincible strongholds? If this story has stirred something inside you, it's because God is revealing the same thing to you today. Are you ready to embrace these secrets and see victory in your life? Have you ever felt that anxiety that Victor conquered, or a defeat that seems insurmountable? If it has touched your soul, it's because this video needed to reach you at this exact moment. Share in the comments, "Today I claim my victory in God." And if you feel the fire of faith burning, subscribe to the channel now. But only if you have the courage to live out these secrets starting today. God bless you, and remember, victory doesn't wait. It calls you now. Dry toast introduction, approximately 30 seconds. Imagine you're in the middle of an invisible battle where every step seems to lead you to the abyss, and suddenly an eternal voice reveals secrets no one else has heard, promising victory not tomorrow, but today. What if God is whispering to you now, "My child, these 3 secrets are for you, so that you may conquer what has defeated you for years"? If your heart beats faster at this moment, it's no coincidence. It's a divine invitation. Stay until the end, because these secrets could be the key that unlocks your life forever. Once upon a time, there was a man named Javier, a humble carpenter on the cobblestone streets of a forgotten neighborhood in Bogota, Colombia, where the smoke from chimneys mingled with the aroma of bitter coffee and the echo of distant laughter that no longer reached his home. Javier had been a devout Christian in his youth, but life had dealt him a cruel blow. He lost his wife in a tragic accident, leaving behind 2 young children who looked up with wide, confused eyes, wondering why their father no longer smiled. Then came the debt that suffocated him, like invisible chains squeezing his chest every night, while the wood workshop smelled of damp sawdust and broken dreams. Every morning he woke up feeling the weight of defeat, feeling the cold floor beneath his bare feet, murmuring lukewarm prayers that faded into the void. "God, where are you? Why do you allow the darkness to swallow me up?" she wondered, tears falling like solitary drops in the silence of her room. But deep within her soul, a divine spark still burned, weak as a candle in a storm, reminding her that God's victories don't come in grand trumpets, but in secret whispers that transform the heart. Everything changed one stormy night when thunder rumbled like divine judgment and the rain pounded the zinc roof like impatient fingers. Javier, unable to sleep, knelt before a dusty old Bible, the leather cracked by time, and opened it at random, feeling a chill run down his spine like an icy wind. His eyes fell on Ephesians 6:12, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual wickedness in high places." That was the initial revelation, the hook that pulled him into an unexpected journey. God was revealing to him that his battle was not against the visible world, but against hidden forces, and that victory would come through 3 powerful secrets, each like a key forged in divine fire. The first secret, the armor of faith. Javier felt an urgency in his chest, as if God was speaking directly to him. "Put on my armor and nothing will bring you down." That night, instead of giving in to discouragement, Javier prayed with a new intensity, imagining an invisible armor covering his body, protecting his heart from the arrows of doubt. The next day, something unexpected happened. An old client to whom he owed money called him not to collect, but to offer a large contract, saying he had dreamed about Javier the night before. It was no coincidence. It was the first glimmer of victory, a crack of light in his darkness. But Javier wondered, what would happen if he ignored the other secrets? The tension grew, like a taut rope about to snap, driving him deeper. With the first secret echoing in his mind, Javier began to notice how faith wasn't just believing, but acting as if victory were already won. But the second secret came at a time of deep crisis, when his eldest son, only 12 years old, fell ill with a fever that burned like fire on his small forehead, sweat beading his skin like drops of agony. The hospital was far away and money was scarce. Javier felt panic rise in his throat like bitter bile, the smell of homemade medicines permeating the tiny room. In that desperation, he opened the Bible again, and God revealed the second secret to him: the power of liberating forgiveness. His eyes fell on Matthew 6:14-15. For if you forgive others their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their trespasses, your Father will not forgive your trespasses. Javier realized he carried a deep resentment toward the driver who caused his wife's accident, a poison that poisoned his soul and blocked blessings. His heart beating like a war drum, Javier wrote a letter to the man, not in anger, but with words of forgiveness. I release you from my resentment, because God has released me. As he sent it, he felt as if a colossal weight had vanished, making room for a peace that flowed like a fresh river inside him. And then, the turning point, the doctor called that same afternoon, saying the fever had miraculously dropped, as if an invisible hand had touched the child. But not all was peace. Doubts lurked, wondering if this forgiveness was enough for total victory, creating a tension that kept him on edge, longing for the third secret. The third secret was revealed in the stillness of an early morning as Javier walked through the streets wet from the recent rain, the asphalt gleaming under the dim lights like a path of fallen stars. The aroma of damp earth and fresh bread from the nearby bakery enveloped him, but his mind was in turmoil, questioning whether these secrets were real or just wishful thinking. God, in his infinite mercy, guided him to Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This was the third secret, gratitude in constant prayer. Javier understood that victory did not come just by asking, but by giving thanks in advance, as if the blessing were already on the way. He began to pray with gratitude, giving thanks for the victory he had not yet seen, feeling a warmth in his chest that dispelled the chill of doubt. That day, a bigger surprise arrived. A local investor, inspired by an inner voice, offered him a partnership in the workshop, multiplying his income overnight. But the real intensity came when Javier faced a final test. A fire threatened his home, the flames licking the walls like voracious tongues, the suffocating smoke filling the air with a scent of destruction. Amid the chaos, Javier applied the three secrets. He armed himself with faith, forgave the panic that was overcoming him, and gave thanks for the salvation to come. The firefighters arrived just in time, saving everything, and Javier knew that these secrets were not myths, but divine weapons for victory today. As the days passed, Javier saw how these three secrets wove together into a divine tapestry, transforming not only his life, but that of his family. His once somber children now laughed with pure joy, the scent of home-cooked food filling the home like a balm. But not without further trials. Resentment tried to return in dreams, doubt whispered in quiet moments, creating a constant tension that kept him dependent on God. Inspired by true stories like Corrie ten Boom, who forgave her Nazi oppressors through prayer, or Nick Vujicic, who overcame his physical limitations with unwavering faith, Javier shared his testimony at the local church, where the echo of his words resonated in wounded hearts. One parishioner's comment moved him. "Your story has given me hope. I too can apply these secrets." Javier felt the mystery of divine revelation, as if God had entrusted him with something forbidden to the world, but necessary for lost souls. And so, in a single day of revelation, Javier went from defeat to absolute victory, proving that God's secrets are not to be kept, but to be lived. Isn't it amazing how three simple truths can tear down seemingly invincible strongholds? If this story has stirred your soul, it's because God is revealing the same thing to you. Are you ready to apply these secrets today? Have you experienced a similar victory where a divine secret changed everything? If you feel that urgency in your heart, share in the comments, "I claim my victory in Christ." And if this message has inspired you not to give up, subscribe to the channel now. But only if you have the courage to live these secrets. God bless you, and remember, victory doesn't wait. It is calling you today.